Hello, everyone. Welcome yet again to another episode of Contact Lost, the best Polish English speaking podcast about Warhammer 40k out there in the web, in the universe, on YouTube, definitely. I'm your host, Week. And with me, I have two fantastic guests because today we keep on promoting one of the best events, if not the best event, team event of 40k in the world right now. And today we are going to be talking not only about the event itself, so the Pyra Cup, but we are also going to be talking about Team Poland. We're going to look behind the scenes. We're going to check what Team Poland is doing, how they are prepping for the event, how they are prepping for WTC. And yeah, I couldn't think of anyone better to talk about the team than the temporary captain of the team, Majson,
Hello there.
and another member of the team, a person who is also helping to build the team, a new face on the scene, but a face here to stay. Here we have Kaskader, or as we decided to call him, the Stuntman.
Howdy.
Welcome, dude. How are you guys? How are you doing? Myson, let's start with you. What have you been up to recently? People should know
Oh,
you from Team Ignite, Team Poland, so many things. The Polish Messiah. What have you been up to recently?
yeah, and too much 40k in the in life.
The usual stuff in Poland, I guess.
The usual stuff in Poland. Basically, since like 3 days, I'm only my evenings are talking or thinking or doing things about Pyra Cup. So
No
there is
wonder. I mean,
nothing.
the event is just around the corner, so
Yeah.
absolutely no surprise. Yep.
Exactly. So just I was like managing the little things that and making sure that everyone knows what to do at the event from the all the people that support me in doing that.
Yeah, the final touches that are usually the most important. All right, Kaskader, how about you? Tell us something about yourself. You're, as I said, the new face, the new kid on the block. So, how about you introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. So it's 10 p.m. I've put my kids down. Started 8 p.m. Plans to like get ready for this show 9 p.m. But 3 minutes before 9 p.m. I fell asleep. So I am a dad, which I think is the most rewarding of the roles I have. But other than that, I run a couple of businesses in healthcare. I do IT in healthcare. And around like 18, 24 months ago, I was like, okay, I need to find a hobby. There's like too much work in my life. I need to do something for fun. So I managed to make a job out of my hobby
Hmm.
and basically do a lot in 40k. I used to play 40k like 10 years ago.
Hmm.
For like 9, 10 years ago, then I started my business, and like it was all consuming for my time. And I'm back and got back to my first Masters event, to the first Grand Tournament in Łódź. Was lucky enough to almost win it, like at the first tournament. Lost my last game to Victor, who is one of our team managers right now as well.
Hmm.
It was a fiery game, but it was like a good start of, of good intro to doing the team management for Team Poland right now. So yeah, we're here to like use some of our business experience and try to get 40k more into the like professional sports area. That's the direction. We'll see if we get there, but at least that's where we aim.
Sounds incredibly ambitious, I must say. So, I mean, wait, let me summarize. You said you are a dad, you run a couple of businesses, and you came to the conclusion that that's not enough and you need more. That's wicked. But yeah, I guess Team Poland needs people like that. So, let's talk about this very thing. So, Team Poland, I've been out of the scene for a while. I came back to a completely new landscape where the let's say the majority of the old faces on the team are on a sort of a hiatus. Um, the Pyra Cup exists, and it's one of the biggest, most abundant, most awaited events out there. What the hell happened, my son? Tell me all about it. Like, what did I miss, and how did it come to this? That
You
Pyra
missed.
is such a yeah. Go on, such a major
Okay,
event.
you missed a year. Yep, for
Pretty
being
much,
in it.
yeah, yeah. I was away for a year, and in between, magic happened. So tell me about that magic.
Oh, okay. So first of all, we started the. People know that I've been into TO stuff, so tournament organization in Poland for a couple of years. I started with local events, then managed to do some grand tournaments, but that was not enough. We had the ambition to basically do the events, to invite international teams to Poland, because yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we can do great events here. It's We don't have to travel as Team Poland to other countries to have these great events and of 40k.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I took an inspiration from the Netherlands tournament, so Eurotrash,
Mm-hmm.
where there was strict invitational formula of the tournament that was used as a training event for the team Netherlands and basically surrounding and friends.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to Ruth that time and Typhus, and we basically I thought that why not do this in Poland?
Mm-hmm.
So we have done a Pyro Cup event, a test event at my hometown at the hotel. So we invited our first guests over
Mm-hmm.
there and tested the formula. So basically, those close friends. So of course, Team Netherlands, Team Scotland, Belgium. Over there, we invited two Polish teams that basically supported us. The idea was that
Mm-hmm.
we bring one team, Team Poland, at its finest,
Mm-hmm.
to test the team composition and people before the WTC, and the team gathered from the people that was were basically involved in the selection process, and they were somewhere around, and we wanted to give them opportunity to play against the international community. So that was the idea. We
Mm-hmm.
realized that we did the first event, and that was probably something that you experienced,
Mm-hmm.
and then suddenly everyone was happy about it, and everyone was like, "Wow, it's possible! We can do this." And year after, because yeah, I don't also I also need something to do in my life,
Mm-hmm.
and so
I mean, sounds like
and,
a perfect thing.
and so I thought that the perfect thing would be to go deeper, just dig deeper into it, and let's do the more events. So next
Yep.
year I had four events planned in total. So we had this idea to expand basically for the main event. So to invite actually the best teams from the
Mm-hmm.
WTC. So thanks to Typhus, we contacted Team USA, Team England, Team France, and invited them last year in February to just small Polish town in the middle of
Mm-hmm.
nowhere. Come here for the weekend of 40k.
Yeah, it's
And
mind blowing.
the
When I
idea was
Go on, go
basically,
on.
yeah, the idea was to enable all the national teams to bring their candidates. So it was like strictly event for the not even for the like strongest team compositions, but for the candidates to test them before WTC in the like international environment.
Mm-hmm.
That was the idea.
Yeah. So as I said, it's mind blowing if you think about it, because you have absolute creme de la creme, like as you said, Team England. Okay, not that complicated. I mean, England is not that far, but Team USA flying over for a, one might say, a random event in Poland, and yet
To
they did.
Międzyrzecz.
Yeah, exactly. To a
Yeah,
place the name
that's
of which
crazy
is
when you think
beyond
of it.
pronunciation. So yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Only like testament to your organization skills, testament to what quality you bring to the Polish community. Uh, Jumping to Kaskader just for a sec. How did you get involved? How are you, or what are your responsibilities here?
Um, so when I got back into 40k, I was like, and got back in, got into competitive gaming. I was like, there's got to be a way to make this like more attractive to more people.
Hmm.
It's the game is so interesting. It's so beautifully complex that there's so much potential to get this even more into the world. Also, this is a sport that's going back on GW's back. GW has been growing like crazy for the last couple of years. They made a couple of smart decisions to make this game playable,
Hmm.
which in return made good players come back to 40k. And so I got interested. I was like, okay, who's doing it the best? So Poland is doing this game the best.
How lucky.
How lucky, right? So I was like, okay, so who in Poland is doing that best? And so the answer was very easy. It's Team Poland and people who got involved with it.
Hmm.
I was like instantly impressed with. Okay, so Team Poland wasn't like that when I last played 40k. We didn't have sponsors.
Hmm.
We had some presence abroad, but it's like it wasn't a recognized thing.
Yeah.
And then you like have one of the main media channels in Poland on Instagram, like posting that, yeah, guys, this is 40k and Poland has just won. And it's like, okay, like I would like to get involved in that,
Hmm.
whatever that means. Time went by, and Majson approached me and said, look, there's this situation. We have a lot of players that that wants to take a pause this year. They want to see like what the world looks like outside of 40k, or like what 40k looks like when you
I
don't
really
try
don't
to
understand.
win every
Yeah.
every time. Maybe you just like want to try to play the game for fun for a year. So
Fun?
um,
Yuck.
yeah, exactly. So this was I saw it as like, okay, there might be a window of opportunity to like get my skills that I've learned for through the years, and possibly put them to work for 40k. So like maybe this is the year that we don't like think that this goes on the back of a couple of people who have been doing that for all of that time, wonderfully winning all of the tournaments. I did some statistics when I got involved. I mean, we've been on the podium 13 out of 16 times.
Hmm.
And But one of the issues that was clearly out there was there's a couple of guys in Poland who do this amazingly well, and we might be struggling with like the broader community. So like there might be the gradient of skill might be very steep.
There is no,
Um,
to use like IT terms, there is no resiliency on the
yeah,
team, basically.
yeah, like where's the redundancy
Exactly.
on these guys? That happens. I mean, a couple of best guys just said that we need to take a break for a year. So this is also like one of the parts is, okay, so we need to build a strong team without some of the best players. But it's also an opportunity because this means like, okay, we can use this year to build more of the business part of Team Poland, to try to make it attractive for sponsorships, to figure out different ways to bring money into Team Poland. Because when you're talking about professional sports, at some point there is a conversation about money and
Mm-hmm.
getting tournaments compensated, so they don't like in this, so they don't always drag the pockets of the players.
Yep.
So there's that part. Plus, we wanted to lift the skill of the community. So there's more to like the pool of talent is broader for the years to come. So like this was the approach. When Majson told me like, hey, look, there's like you should try to be one of the team managers for this year. I was like, no, this ain't happening. I'm not doing that. I can help you guys, like go Poland, but I'm not doing this. I can help you with business. I'm not starting. But yeah, I did start, and I tried to like I talked to Maryś and Orzeł. So
Mm-hmm.
Wiktor and Maryś were like also they're not sure about this team management thing. They've got like both of them their own businesses to run. But we thought like, okay, so this is a window of opportunity. Like this is the year that you can try to build of the all of the stack and use all of our experiences. So Victor is modeling business, so like the all of the business around what we do in hobby is Victor. Maryś is strong with background in marketing. So like if you were to build like a skill set of people who should try to like start the business part of the of team management, I think this was like a good team to choose from. Other than that, these are really smart players, so they're also
Mm-hmm.
like brilliant to play with. So yeah, so we posted our offer for the community, um, and we were lucky enough to be handed the opportunity to to try to put our ideas to work. So yeah, here we are.
Fantastic. I mean, that's a fascinating, completely new dimension that I guess we have never seen before. So that now there's talk about marketing, talk about sponsorships, talk about management and so on. So it's not like a team built. I don't want to say on the quick, but a team built purely based on player skill, and then let's see what happens. This time there is like a ton of organization. It sounds very professional. It sounds very international. Sounds very impressive, to be perfectly honest. So, Mason, back to you. What is the process this year? So, usually it used to work like this: that you had a bunch of candidates, uh, probably people who performed well at events, and then yeah, sort of naturally and organically, they became the national team. They went to the WTC and performed or tried to perform. With this professional aspect now, with the community coming closer together, etc., etc., how do you go about building a team essentially?
Okay, so basically, what we have done with the other selectors in previous years, we basically reused and adapted this year.
Mm-hmm.
So, with the ambition to get the business around, we had already as a background, we had the solution that worked. Basically, for last 3 years of team selection, the solution more or less worked. It was refined after the process was basically refined after every year, and now we took a chance to basically refine it one more time and basically do it once again. While some of us from the like team management board, we focus on the business side. Some of us took the responsibility of basically giving the opportunity to play to our players to get them a chance to play in international scrims. Uh, so yeah, we are just basically about to narrow the team, the candidates to like a narrow section of the team, which will be uh, announced officially in upcoming days.
Mm-hmm.
Basically. But the first stage of the selection process was basically done the same way that we did the last year and the year before. So we had a open call for players that want to play.
Hmm.
We at this point we made a one change in this season, so we decided that maybe not every player wants to be explicitly on the team. Maybe some of them want to just to join the us to learn and just to support us in some way. We had that like during the application process, our applicants and candidates need to basically say what they expect and what they target for. So we have like a bunch of players that want to go for the strict like team selection. We
Hmm.
had a bunch of players that want to support us as like coaches and data analysis and so on. And basically, the last one is the players that want to learn the game.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, and just
that's
to
yeah.
put it into numbers, I think this is the year when we had the most people wanted to the most people applied to get into Team Poland. So we had 85 people join through like the form to either play on the top 8 team or have a supporting role.
Wow.
So yeah, it's like
You could
we are
organize an event with just like people
yeah,
aspiring for the national
yeah,
team.
that's crazy. And last year it was a lot as well. It was like last year was like 60 people.
Hmm.
So it's like 85 is this is decent growth and like in interest. And to play in the top 8, we had 39 people out of those applying for the top 8 spot for WTC.
Hmm.
Um, and you've guys been huge help, Joker and Contact Lost. I mean, you're making like helping us with the international contacts
Hmm.
with the teams and arranging sparrings. I think it's been the most international sparring so far. Like the intensity has been high, so it's been on average 3 or 4 a month. We've been able to give the opportunity to play to 65 people. Out of those who applied, 65 people had an opportunity to play with international teams.
Hmm.
So like we think there's no better way to get your skill up, or to also get it into perspective, to like have feedback. Okay, so I'm playing against the best players in the world outside
Hmm.
Poland. So this is maybe like this is I overestimate things or underestimate things, and like to get your skill in perspective, not just in terms of Polish grand tournaments, but also in terms of like the international skill level. So we are proud of that. Giving 65 people an opportunity to play an international scrim, I think this is very good, and this translates to the broader community. And
Yeah,
I can
absolutely.
definitely see that in grand tournaments with the lists people play right now. That this has inspired people to boost the skill. And we've been able to play right until now with New Zealand, Norway, Belgium, Switzerland, Spain, Germany, England, Sweden, Ireland, France, USA, the
Ah, that's insane.
Netherlands. I hope I mentioned everyone. So an insane amount of work
Mind
has been
blowing.
put into organizing that. You guys been a huge part of that. So thank you very much. Yeah.
So
So
so okay.
so
So let me jump in really quickly because like I have this fun question for you, I guess. But a little bit of background. A year ago or so, when I was still um, around, let's say, and I remember that the Polish national team was forming. One of the conditions to get on the team was to play in international events. That was the time, Majson, when you went to France to play in the singles event, where you came, I think, second or third. I remember Victor was also there, and Victor traveled a lot to different kinds of
The,
tournaments. That was a year ago or
the
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah,
2 years ago,
so
yeah. So, but that's essentially the process that I remember. Now the question: if Tweak decided to join the Polish national team today, uh, what would I actually have to do? What would I have to? demonstrate? Is it just traveling to international events? Is it like a proven track record of victories in major singles event in Poland? What is it that I would need to do? What is it that I would need to show to get a chance to join the Polish national team? Majson, let's go with you.
Okay, so first of all, you would need to apply for it and
Hmm.
tell us what's your expectations. So, what are your expectations about what's your aim? If you aim for the playing in the team as one of the Team Poland guys at WTC, you'd get your chance basically at our international scrims, and this is like some kind of a filter that we provide feedback to players that play over the screens. We see their results. We see mm, how they estimate the pairings, and we keep track of the games. That was Kaskader invention. So we have something like a collected Excel sheet with the games. Keeping track. Yeah,
Hmm.
basically a document that keeps track of the games that people played, including not only the information what was the score from the game and the lists, but also uh, the deployment, screenshot from the
So
deployment,
some conclusions, right?
estimation,
Hmm.
and the conclusions from the game. So based on that, we took like this as some kind of information to pre-select people who will pick then to international events. So into the narrow team. So that's the point. At this time, this is the point that we already not officially presented the narrow team, but it will be soon. Um, but yeah, that was the things that we based on. So if you want to apply for the team, you need to tell us that you want to play, then you will get your chance at internal and international scrims.
Hmm.
You report your games. You talk to us and to the veteran players. Uh, we just basically process the information, and then if you are like one of the doing good, not in terms of the results, but in terms of the estimations, and you are delivering your estimations from the matchups,
Spot on. Hmm.
because the score in the end doesn't matter that much. What matters is what's your estimations and what's, because yeah, the
Can you do it
game is,
consistently? Hmm.
yes, the game is basically asymmetrical. Sometimes it is very valuable for the team to have a player that can get a consistent draw from everyone,
Hmm.
and that's also a role in the team composition that you could perform.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was basically the process and the idea how to get on the team.
Okay, Kaskader. I don't know if it's too early to reveal this or not, but are you looking for anything specific in the candidates for the national team? Are you looking for, I don't know, faction specialists, or are you looking for, on the contrary, for universal talent that someone who can pick up pretty much any army and give a good performance? Which one is it?
I think it depends.
It always depends.
It always depends. So I think that also like the meta has changed so much since last year. It was way easier to be a faction specialist last year. I think right now the choices are so many choices, like so many new codexes have come out with a couple of detachments, a couple of ways to play the game, and it mostly comes down to right now. Last year, I would tell you like the faction specialist part was more important than right now than it is right now. Right now, it's more about being able to estimate macro quickly, like on a top level, how well can this detachment perform, and it will be increasingly more important because we're like 10 codexes ahead of us, right? Each of them with probably like 4 to 6 detachments.
Hmm.
So so yeah, I see a couple of faction specialists who are really amazing and stick to just one army. Don't want to really touch anything else. and can play a couple of archetypes within one specific army. However, right now it's the ability to adjust to changing meta, and changes it insanely fast. And the number of permutations of what you can bring to a tournament will only increase until the WTC. So one part is being able to play your play style within different armies. That's one of the competences. The other one is the ability to estimate accurately. And the third one is being able to accurately understand why your games did work or didn't work, and be able to get feedback and communicate it effectively to the team. So these are the most important skills. So last year it was more like you play your army very well, and this year it's more like you look at a list, you can like get a feel of how strong the army is and what it can do against your army, and like more flexibility, and thinking on the spots is more important right now.
Drawing conclusions.
Yeah. So and what I look in players, first and foremost, is consistency, and you get that out of the player cards. I think it's a cool invention. For example, there's a player we discovered this year through player cards, but also through the international scrims in terms of being able to estimate well. It's Kolgar, and interestingly, he didn't apply as top 8 potential. But we were like, okay, look, guys, there's this dude here, and he seems to be doing well in terms of like estimating and delivering. And he's not talking about a lot about it. He's not like bragging his scores, but we can see he's pretty consistent. Like, let's keep an eye out of him.
Like an unpolished diamond or something like that.
Yeah. So like making those tools where people can have their own channel on Discord and like go through what's in their mind in terms of playing their army. And also there's this place that doesn't have a lot of communication, that's just like what you played against, what's the mission, what's your estimation, what's your delivery of that estimation, and what did you think about how that went and why. Like this gives the player an ability to like be heard without like 10 other people talking about like you should do this or that. You can just like focus on the player. So it's like independent of multiple egos talking about a person. This is a first year for this tool. I think it was a good one. And I really hope that next year we will see even more players, and maybe more community encouraged by this like open approach, that everyone can hop in, and that all you need to do actually is like all you need to do is apply, and we'll get you in the process and give you a chance and a shot to like play an international online scrim.
Yeah, what you're describing is amazing, and I could sense it and feel it firsthand. Last weekend, for example, I went to Toruń, and I got to play against one of the guys who is in the Polish Discord, that like the national team Discord. So Gabryś, we played a game, my Custodies versus his Gene Stealer Cults, and from the get go, you could sense that this guy is involved in something bigger. He came to the table, mind focused on I'm gonna kill you. He whipped out the clock, he put it on the table, and it was like one of the most sport-like experiences of my life. We played. It was a very even game. It almost ended in a draw. Just a couple of mistakes from my end turned it into an 11-9. But throughout the whole thing, we were chatting. It was very sportsmanlike. And then I could feel that this is a guy who plays in scrims, who plays in international games, who has the ambition to go to international events. The level of maturity of like players that go to events that aspire to the national team is unlike anything I've seen before. So kudos to you, gentlemen, again, because it's your doing, basically. But Majson, a question to you: where is Pyra in all of this? So coming back to the event that started this whole series that we're doing right now, what's the purpose, or what is the assumption of this coming Pyra that is going to happen this weekend? Is it to test players, or is it to test specific armies or specific builds, or is it espionage? Is it just checking what other people,
Okay.
what other teams bring?
So it's mostly for testing the players and seeing the players that are basically testing our candidates versus candidates of our basically friends, not the opponents, but friends from
Hmm.
abroad. This is the first and main purpose. Of course, we are testing in parallel. We are testing team composition and the armies, but it doesn't matter that much at this point because there's just one tournament that's our main aim to win is WTC. So uh, until the WTC, the metagame will change like 4, maybe even 10 times, and a
Hmm.
lot of releases. There will be a lot of releases. But what we can test right now at this point is how the players can adapt from one metagame to another. How we can predict as a team how fast we can predict a new metagame. Just we had just like two huge codex releases. We had all the Christmas detachments coming in December, which basically shake the game and provided, like Kaskader said, more permutations of what you can bring to the table. So basically, we had this 1 month of preparation to check how, as a team, we can predict the metagame, how we can adapt to it, and how our players can basically how fast they can test the armies. Uh, I personally think that there will be a strong limitation for all the teams this year because we all have a lot of releases, a lot of possibilities for armies. We will have a balancing update probably coming as the last year in
Shortly
somewhere
before.
in June, so
Hmm.
just before the WTC cutoff, and there will be like the game will be twisted around, and the rule set will change how to missions and so on. Maybe, of course, this is
Hmm.
not confirmed, but we'll have like a month of preparation. So we need players that will be able to adapt quickly from one metagame to another. That they are not fixed on their like ideas from the past. That they can change armies, adapt armies according to their playstyle, of course. And this is something we can test at the Pyro event.
Hmm. Okay.
Uh,
So are there, because last year uh, the Polish national team didn't win. Uh, were there any conclusions from that event? Are there any conclusions that you are still trying to process, apply, present to the to the people aspiring to the team, so that, I don't know, the same mistakes are not made? And if you could shed some light on like what the mistakes potentially were.
I think that a mistake from our from the last year from our team composition was the wrong. We had two teams that were kind of imbalanced. I mean, we mixed our candidates with the veterans, but it was like 50% of everyone in the teams. And this is also something that showed us that we basically need to engage broader community to find players that will feel that like to have this redundancy in the
Hmm.
community for the team. So that was the main problem identified during the Pyra Cup last season. So yeah, this year we did something different. We'll see. So we had a team of veterans, mostly veterans, with some of the returning players as a team A. It's not a like full strength composition, but a team that has clearly like more veteran players, and the team B, which is clearly like led by our team managers.
Hmm.
So Kaskader is the captain of the team over there, and Marish is also engaged as a player, and
Hmm.
took our most promising candidates into that team, and the rest of the veterans or inside there to test out or what will happen. So the
Okay.
balance of the teams is more shifted into one team being technically stronger on
Mm-hmm.
paper, taking into account and now I see the smile, and if you will win with our team, and then
That would be
this will
fun.
Places on the
this
team
will
currently.
Hilarious. That would be,
this is going to be like a great
yeah.
TikTok, yeah.
I mean,
This
if
particular
A
moment.
ended up not being the best team in Poland, that would be hilarious.
I
I
would be
don't think
really
that
happy.
that will happen. However, when just based on the tables, we'll see on about our ability to deliver them. But just looking at the matrices, uh, it ain't bad. I mean, when we're at least on the level of estimation, when we're estimating the our team B against France, USA, and England, who we're starting on Saturday with, it's not looking bad actually. It's looking like surprisingly okay.
At least on theory
We'll
level.
see. At least in theory,
Yeah,
we'll see.
just
Yeah,
stop. They are listening to us. Remember, you have all Green Bay rings over there. You
I
have
mean,
Exactly.
I'm okay
no
with
bad
them
matchups in the
listening.
table.
Like, I'm okay with them listening. Like, look, like we are Team B Poland, and we're okay to play with them.
Yeah. The
I mean,
confidence is
make
oozing.
Uh,
just
no,
make them scared of you or not.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the first like, guys. This is not fucking green. Situation.
Yep. It
we
always
have
happens.
we have a challenge to count this sentence in some forms and over the event. So, but
So
Yeah.
tell me,
not only in our teams, but also in the international teams.
so Kaskader, do you think there is something like a good ratio of new players versus veterans on a team? I mean, veterans, in my imagination at least, the veterans would be the ones who instill that team spirit. They, help people get used to the conditions of playing at a tournament like this because this is actually extremely tiring. It's actually long. Like if you think about that, maybe not Pyra, but WTC, this is what 3 days of playing, and if you're in the War Master, that's even longer. So it takes endurance. It takes a lot of factors to actually perform. Mm, and then are there any drawbacks of bringing too many aspirants onto the team? What do you think?
Aspirants. I thought you were like, okay, will the veterans make it until the end of the week?
No, 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 no. It's the other way around. The veterans are not that veteran.
Yeah, so our senior correspondents, our senior staff, no, we have very. Um, I think the mix of veterans and newer guys is very good. I do believe we have a very strong team. I think the backbone of the team and like the prospects for the next year are also very compelling. And in terms of new people, uh, just look at the team management. You have 2 out of 4 guys are new guys, and one
Mhm.
of them is a returning guy. I think just on that level, I think the proportion is like there are a lot of new people in the shortlist of players in the like top 16, 18. It's not all new people. There are veterans, and they've been providing a lot of value to leveling up to like the translate the skill and their experience. So it would be impossible to like not have Majson or on our team management, to not have support from, I know, from Vladi or from Crazy, from like the people who've been here for a lot of years before us,
Mhm.
and we're very appreciative of that. Um, but I'm also very happy there's like a lot of new energy in terms of players and in terms of players and in terms of also like the supporting guys. So we have Ditsu, shout out to Ditsu, who's also been a great help for team management. Yeah, and honestly, I'm also like looking forward to a future when like Typhus and Duda and Pumba and all of the guys from the previous years like hop back for like
Mm-hmm.
next season, or Gito, because that would be an incredibly strong talent pool to pick from also for the next season. Like I'm looking forward to a situation when they come back. We have a strong situation without them, but they come back and we're even stronger. So yeah, a lot of new people, and really this year, like as I said, probably like 5 times already.
Mm-hmm.
This year has been a great opportunity to get the community up to speed, and to get new guys on Team Poland.
Okay. I need to ask about this, and you know that that question is coming because it's very close to my heart. But um, I guess this was a theme or a topic after every single WTC for the last 2 or 3 years, where players like Pumba or players like Typhus, they would come back from the WTC, either victors or not, doesn't matter. But every single time they said the same thing. Like Pumba told me time and time again, like especially that the WTC happened in August, and then almost a month later there was an LGT, and we would meet at the LGT after the WTC, and Pumba was like, "Ah, fuck! I did nothing for a month. It was so liberating. Finally, I don't have to play Warhammer." If we take a step back and look at that, that sounds bad. Are the Polish players overdoing it? Are the players over investing themselves in this game? Or is this actually the only possible way to win the WTC is to over invest, give it your best, give it your 120%, and then suffer afterwards? Majson, what do you think?
So I think that the problem is like it's real. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
over investing ourselves in burnout. Yeah, so some players can return from the burnout quite like in a month or two, like
Mm-hmm.
myself. I just need to do things for some
Mm-hmm.
reason. I can't just sit down and relax. I just need to do things.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the players need more and more time. And right now, if you combine like being ITO and team selector, like player, business manager, whatever, if you combine a lot of these functions, you're basically you have a lot of time spent basically something that's called a hobby. In order to win the WTC, like you need nowadays, you need every little advantage that you can get, and you need. This is something we discovered last season that 40k right now is more about the information, not
Mm-hmm.
the only the skill of the players. So we need to have like a system which gets us the correct information in an efficient way. This is something also that in this season, I believe that by encouraging more and more people working as part of the team management board. So because we are not only the team managers, we have 3 official team managers. Me as a support from the last seasons and knowledge transfer. We have Joker from Contact Lost supporting us, and this so we are actually in the like team management and all the aspects. The things that needs to be done are split into the responsibilities are split and distributed over more people, and that's something that helped especially me. I would say from my position to focus more on the game itself, not on doing like organizational stuff, which can be run by the other guys.
Mm-hmm.
And we are thinking that encouraging and getting more people involved in that, and more looking to the team management as something like a project, and we have the project manager who distributes the task over people involved, is a way to go to basically avoid this burnout, because
Hmm.
this was a real problem, and that's um, I was really close to resigning from doing all the organizational stuff, just focus on TOing and so on. I was really close to do that after the last year, but yeah, I saw the new energy coming, new people coming, that basically
You
inspired
got
me to
rejuvenated.
yeah. And as I said, I need to do things, and this is this was refreshing, and basically a way to cope with the burnout.
Hmm.
It's not an easy thing. I think like everyone needs to just find their way and find their own boundary, how to basically make a boundary between a hobby and uh, real life, basically.
Yeah, draw a line.
Uh, there's needs to be some kind of a line. I personally struggled with it last the last season, and it affected me both, like on both sides, basically.
Hmm. Right.
This year, I feel that I can focus on the game itself and the things that I'm good at, and I can just leave the management and the other people, and we have like 100% trust into each other. We Of course we communicate, and this is something that's going to like really promising direction. Will it work? And will I feel the burnout after this year? We'll see. But that's the way how you basically check the things. You need to
Yeah.
try, and then take feedback and basically refine it for the next season. And
Yeah, but it's
well,
go on.
yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, I wanted just to add that what Kaskader said about returning veterans. For example, if we get the system done this season, and still, well, we will be strong because we have really strong players, and majority of our veterans are there, and we have returning players as well available for WTC team. So we'll still have like really strong team when after this season, when the old veterans decide to go back to the hobby. We'll have a system, we'll have experience, we'll have basically everything on board, and I really like hope that this is something that Team Poland like can improve
Hmm.
in that way professionally.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing that you're not only doing it for like this year's potential success, but it's also like thinking for the long term, like what's going to happen,
Yeah.
after the event, what's going to happen next year, etc., etc. That's really impressive. Kaskader, I need to ask you this because you are, let's say, new to the team. How does it feel? Is it maybe off-putting in any way to have this huge target on your back? Because when people when we ask players from abroad who they are targeting, who are they most prepping for, Poland is in the, let's say, top three, top two teams that everyone mentions. How does it make you feel? Does it add like a certain degree of pressure to what you're doing currently? That that they are essentially, as I said, putting a huge bullseye on your back.
I think I would one up you even on that one because I think we can objectively say that Poland is the best international Warhammer 40k team, like hands down the best in terms of podiums scored
Most
throughout
accolades,
the
yeah.
entire
Hmm.
history of WTC. We are consistently number one, like in terms of average placement on WTC. Poland is hands down the best.
Huge
So
shoes to fill,
so
right?
so yeah yeah so like here's us coming into the situation with a couple of players pausing, and with a task of like here's build the best team without some of like four of the best guys who've been doing that consistently for the last couple of years. so
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
we see that, but um, I think what puts a bit of that pressure off is most of the most experienced guys are still in Team Poland. It's not like we're working in a void. It's these guys are there. Their experience is there. They are either helping or on the team. So that's one part, and the other part is we are not only focusing on this WTC. So my job here is not just to make this WTC amazing and like head back. I'm building something for longer, and that's supposed to serve for longer. So I'm not like we're doing this WTC, we're done.
Yeah.
This puts like the feeling of the target on my back a bit off, because my personal target is not just there. It's not just about winning WTC. It's also about building a broader community of
Leaving a
highly
legacy.
competitive skills. Yeah, I mean, building on top of what guys built already. So what guys have done is they've performed amazingly. They've built an international understanding that Poland is the best.
The foundation is there.
Yeah, the foundation is there. Like we have a legal entity which allows us to take sponsors on. We've had sponsors like last year and 2 years ago, and so like there's some titanic job done by guys from last year's. We are just like putting more structure on it and building on top of that, and like figuring out other strategies. And in terms of burnout, yeah, I think one of the factors of burnout here is like this is at least a full-time job without compensation.
That's what Pumba said last year as well. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so like any and more than no compensation, it's a job that doesn't pay you, but but you get to pay the job. Like you have to pay
You
for
get to invest a lot in
you
it,
get
and
to invest in
you don't
something
know,
that doesn't invest back into you, and you have to
the return might
somehow
not be there.
make a case for your like family and group of friends, like explain to them why this makes sense, which is impossible because it doesn't. so,
Yeah, like, honey,
so
I'm
like
gonna spend every weekend playing this
yeah,
miniature game
yeah,
for the
exactly.
coming year. Insane.
So like I think the way to make it sustainable is to aim into a direction that's not only the best players don't like pay all of the expenses, but in the future possibly maybe get some compensation from like being the best. So this is how you get them even more focused on the hobby, or and make it not a hobby but turn it into an actual sport. So like we'll see if we're able to push forward in that direction. I think we already have done that. I think we already like we already know this will we haven't revealed all of the sponsorships that will be happening over some time. But we already know that this year will be the best sponsored year throughout our entire history. I am willing to bet that it will be twice what we have had in terms of like income into the into Team Poland, like as a sum of last 3 or 4 years. I
Wow.
think I can make that bet.
Okay.
At this point, we already know that we have more than we had last year, and
Sweet.
it's February. It looks like some of our strategies are paying off, but we're also trying to not only get sponsors to work with us, we're trying to figure out different ways to prove value to them, and not only prove value to them, but also prove their value to the community. So we have an amazing sponsor, Twoje Hobby, and based on that partnership, you can use promo code Repka40K, and it's and it gives you a 5% discount What this translates to, like, because it can sound like, okay, you have a sponsor, they give you a promo code, but I actually did like an order of GSC. I bought like 1,000 zloty of GSC, and I made the same order basket in Allegro, and it cost me in
Mm-hmm.
Allegro I would pay 1.2k. So it's like I would have to pay extra 200 zloty
Oh, there
to
you
order
go.
stuff from Allegro. So I think this translates to the community. Also, we have Micro Art Studio, who've been building amazing terrain, like the
Mm-hmm.
most beautiful. I absolutely adore Micro Art terrain. And you have a 10% discount there. Just like this is something we give to the community. You can put in Repka 40k in Micro Art and pay like 200 zloty less for getting your table and to play on a beautiful set of terrain.
Yeah, so it's
Uh,
good offers, it's long-term partnerships,
yeah,
it's
we are invested long term with those sponsors. We're not like, okay, we want to get you for the year. We're building relationships for the next like a couple of years forward. So I don't want to just like build a budget for us for this year. I want us to prove consistent value to the sponsors. So we get the sponsorships, we get the partnership, the cooperation, and we built like an ecosystem of like, ever improving thing, and we get to work for the next 2 to 3 years. So if next year, let's say, you get a new set of team managers, they don't have to rebuild all of the sponsorships, all of the like documents. And we've spent a lot of time just like looking for the good draft of documents and understanding our legal situation. What can we use? Like, do we even have a brand? Can we use this logo or that logo? Who does it actually belong to? So like this will not have to be done again. Right now, we also did rebranding. You can use the branding and like produce merch with it. You don't have to like think, who does this belong to, this person, or does this version of the logo belong to this person?
mm-hmm.
Uh, we've done that, and it's here to stay. So you can build on top of that. Um,
So when I said
so
that you were leaving a
so
legacy, this isn't fooling around. It's like a proper thing now.
yeah, like this is the way I can bring value. So there are guys who play Warhammer, I think, objectively better than I do. I'm here to help select the best guys to play Warhammer in Poland. But first and foremost, my experience is in business, and this is where I can like give back. And if we want to make it sustainable for the players and also help with burnout, you have to figure out ways to like not strain the people's pockets to play this competitively
Absolutely.
and make this compelling for people who watch us play games, because more and more people actually like watch other people play
Mm-hmm.
games during big tournaments, which is amazing. This hasn't been like 10 years ago. This didn't exist, and right now I can turn on YouTube and watch some of the best guys in the world play on like table one on a big tournament, and
And
it's
you can
fun
see
for
that on
me.
7 different streams.
Yeah, exactly. Like this wasn't here like a couple of years ago, and so this is turning to sport. If we want to or not, we have to acknowledge that this is turning into a sport. So it's not even like about pushing this to be a sport. It's helping push it, of course, all right, but it's also like getting on the wagon and like not missing it, and maybe being the first. So I also see that other teams are very good. Like the skill discrepancy between different international teams, I think it's not as big as it used to be. When we look at Pyra, you can see a lot of this, almost the same armies being played
Mm-hmm.
by different teams. It looks like a copy of 1-to-1 sometimes. Like Astra Militarum, it looks like eight of the 7 out of 8 teams have taken almost the exact same build of Astra Militar. Like
Mm-hmm.
it shows you that people think the same in this
Yeah.
area. So how do you get ahead right now? One way to get ahead is to get a better set of players, better set of information. But one of other ways to get ahead is figure out ways to get the best guys even more focused on that, and maybe figure out a situation or a path or a strategy to get them into a place where like their actual job, they're starting thinking of it as a distraction. Like I would love it for it to be true, like when someone sees plays Warhammer professionally in Team Poland and starts slowly thinking about like the work is distracting me from being the best player here. And right now I can explain to my family why this makes sense. So I'm not
Hmm.
saying this will happen this year, but if it were to happen at some point, the steps we're taking, I think those are the steps that would have to be taken in terms of to push us that direction.
That's I'm running out of superlatives, but it's extremely inspiring to hear the motivation, and I admire that. But I need to ask one more question since you've already mentioned other teams, and this goes to Majson now. Um, are there any teams? So I spoke about putting a bullseye, a target on someone's back. Is the Polish national team actually placing a bullseye on someone's back? And are you drawing any conclusions from last year? Where
Oh,
I was under the impression that we uh, underestimated some of the teams. Like if you take Sweden, for example, they had crazy lists. I get they got, I think they got dismissed pretty early that, the list will not perform, they cannot do well, and yet they did. So is there, any
uh,
conclusion drawing from last year about that? And are there any teams that you're specifically targeting that they are going to be good?
I think that the main conclusion from the last year was that there's not so much difference about the level, like a competitive level of the team in the top like 8 teams. There's
Hmm.
just a little that all of the like top 8, top 10 teams can compete with each other, and by taking into account the scope of the game and how many builds and how many different detachments you can use, you can create a lot of different team compositions. And some of the team compositions, yeah, the teams will at WTC will present different team compositions. So there will be a challenge, a great challenge to basically be prepared for everyone. We need to figure out some solutions. And in terms of being specific, and I think that you mentioned Sweden, and this is the team that's performing amazing job since like a couple of years.
Yeah.
Every year they're improving as a team, as players, as on every level possible. They're basically improving. And last year they gave us a challenge and we didn't make it. 2 years or 3 years ago, we played against them, and it was we won that matchup. We didn't prepare for Sweden particularly. Uh, the last season, we took there into account, but didn't have like much focus and time to actually analyze the list, and that was the mistake. That was the mistake we made. And this season, I think that the bullseye is on Sweden, and I from what I have seen, they already picked 5 players for this year's WTC, and those 5 players are coming for Pyra. If I'm not wrong, I didn't double check it, but this
It would
shows
make sense.
also this also shows that we have like Sweden, the one of the its potentially strongest composition coming to Pyra event, and those players are really good. And they already showed that they're think out of the box by
Hmm.
presenting different team compositions last year. So that's the team that I'm watching personally, watching really closely, and yeah. So
Yeah, you've done your homework. All right, Kaskader. Same question goes to you. Is there anyone like does the Team Poland have any beef with anyone, or are you just treating everyone equally? Everyone is a threat. We have to be prepared for everyone.
Um, I wouldn't say everyone is a threat. I don't think in those categories. I don't think like in like a threat way, but I think we have to be cognizant that other teams have amazing skill, and approach all of the teams with respect, like not underestimate anyone, because everyone like Majson said, I see the same thing. Like every like I think that most of the teams could be a candidate to land at a WTC podium, especially from the Pyra teams. Like the not all of the team compositions here are those that would place podium on WTC probably, but um, I agree 100% that there's like it's like an obvious thing. Like out of the top 8, maybe top 10 teams in the world, all of them are candidates for the podium, and all of them have an amazing talent pool. All of them have great ways to play Warhammer, basically. So I don't feel we are that much ahead, like in terms of the number of teams we have on WTC. I think the level is like leveling up. The gaps are like it feels like the gaps are closing, and it almost starts to feel like there are no bad teams.
Yeah, last year when you had the new teams from Asia and so on, they really didn't feel like they stood out.
Yeah,
I mean, in the wrong
that's
way.
what I
Like
mean.
they were much apart in terms of skill, right?
Yeah.
So
So,
that's
Also,
also
I think that is getting even narrower this year.
all right.
and
Okay,
the
go on,
thing is
Mike.
basically that we not only integrate with the teams during in-person events, but those TTS streams
Yeah,
we are doing. We are also, I think that the one that is running is actually running with Singapore team, the W1 stream. So they all the teams from, like, let's say exotic countries for 40K.
Mm-hmm.
They have also the chance to actually play and exchange their knowledge with the best teams in the world, and that paid off. And they are not they are kind of outsiders, but they are still good outsiders. They think out of the box. They have their own ideas, and there's just no time to prepare about everyone. So that requires different skill set to deal from the players to adapt to the what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. So I need to ask, and Kaskader, I'll address this question to you, and probably this is going to be the last question of the show today. We all agree that the 40K scene is improving, is maturing, is the teams are closer to one another, but also the access to information is way better and way easier than it used to be because we have, now tens, if not hundreds, of podcasts talking about competitive play, analyzing games, analyzing armies, analyzing codexes, analyzing pretty much anything you want right now. Is there still any room for secrecy today? So is there still room for having like a secret build or like an ace up your sleeve, um, in an era where everyone speaks about everything openly? You know the result of every single tournament. You see who won with what and how and what they used and what units they brought or what unit composition. Is there still, a way to keep something secret from your opponents? As I said, as like an ace up your sleeve, basically.
yeah. I think there are a couple of ways to do that. One of
And do you
those
actually
ways,
want to do it?
it. I mean, closer to WTC. Yeah, at this point, doesn't make sense. Somewhat, it does somewhat, but it's not like we should over focus on being secretive. I think the
Mm-hmm.
way you get the skill up is maybe counterintuitively is getting out there, is getting your players to play other players who are the best from other country. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the availability of lists, I don't think that's the secrecy part. Like singles lists that all don't always translate to teams
Teams, yeah.
lists. Also, I think you can. Uh, I hope this will not be too controversial, but I think you can see it with Slanesh performing very well on win draw lose tournaments singles. And then when you have the WTC 20-0 scoring situation like in Masters in Poland, you don't see like such high placings with
Mm-hmm.
Slanesh. So it's depending on the tournament, like so you have a lot of accessibility to different builds, but a lot of them are like singles builds and singles tournaments, and those lists can be designed differently. However, we have one list that I think other teams didn't think about, which is the Space Wolves list. And we had a lot of like internal conversation, like, is the surprise factor from this list something that compensates not taking Ultramarines, for example?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how that goes, but I think that it's this is like having like the one cherry and the top 8 team. It's like it's like a good thing to surprise people with that. It's I don't think we should over focus on exotic builds that no one
Mm-hmm.
thinks about, because you can like not over focus. It's I
Yeah.
think it's fine to have like a one thing that does something like that, but like not overdo it. 3 I think would be crazy, because it's like it feels random. But closer to WTC, when you have to like close yourself for a month to figure things out, how to play, about how to first like choose the list, and then the next month before the tournament, like just test
Mm-hmm.
insanely, do as many reps as as you can. Like what we did this year, I think is a valid approach, was trying to like hide the lists, and try to like obscure some of the lists on the tournament and show something else on the apps that you can
Mm-hmm.
read the list from, and like try to mislead in this way. Even if the other team knows you're doing that, they know that like they will not know the lists of the best
Mm-hmm.
people. So even if they go into like Tourney Keeper or whatever and see your lists, even if they know they're bullshit lists, and you're doing that, it still has some value, because like the data is obscured.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I wouldn't over focus on that, but doing like
Yeah,
those small things can throw someone off. But I
definitely.
think that the way to do it is, yeah, like most of the focus should go into improving the quality of your gameplay, and have like maybe 5% of focus into obscuring data closer to the event.
Right. Majson, your take on this. Last year,
So
I guess Poland took what, Custodes. That was kind of
yeah,
unexpected. Admech, which took everyone by surprise, and then the Wolf J list that you probably brewed for, I don't know, 6 months, and you did
yeah.
everything possible to keep it a secret. Are you going for something? I mean, I don't want to reveal any secrets, but
Now we
was
will
that
be totally open for the next couple of months during the WTC.
so?
All the lists presented in the tournament will be real, and our yeah.
So was that a pitfall actually that you tried to keep
Uh,
something so much a secret?
so the thing is, there's a risk that with keeping the list is secret. If you play with a list, you get the reps, and you have screams. You have a chance to test it in outside our box. Let's call the box Team Poland. So
Hmm.
outside the box, we can challenge a list with and our idea with different players, different perspective. Because all the teams will play in the different metagame. If you play your list in the different metagames, different boxes, then you can get the full scope of information how the list performs in the current metagame. If you, and of course, by the on the other hand, you get giving out the information that this kind of a list exists. Uh, on the other way around, what you can do is to keep the list and the idea secret, and just play around in your box and make all the reps with it, and then you take the risk. Is the list good enough and tested enough to actually perform on the event, or is it overdone and actually three other top teams will have a team comp that just counters this list and blows basically the sense of using that list in that in composition. So that's a problem. You need that there's a trade-off. Uh, my experience from pairings and doing the pairings for the last WTCs is that one bad matchup can basically cancel you a win and go back to the draw. So one
Hmm.
zero in the road somewhere can basically reduce your scores. And you need, on the other hand, you need armies that can score high in points. So all like this is like miraculous words. It depends. It
It
basically
depends, but this is the aspect of 40k teams 40k that we love the most. So that
I
sort of. Hmm.
I think that if there is a reason to put a list in secret and playtest, and if we find out the solution for the metagame, we'll probably do it, and we'll see at the end, just before the WTC, how the list performs, and basically, according to our data, we'll take the risk or just leave it as it is.
Hmm.
So that's, but as I said before, the game of 40k right now is more about the information and what we can get,
Hmm.
what information we can get. The skill gap is decreasing, and you can't just outskill the other top teams. You need to play with the information. You need to get your estimations, good estimations. There's one really positive factor of having this non-standard ideas on the list, that you are giving the challenge to the other teams to actually prepare against it. Because even if the list is wrongly like selected, like uh, our admec pick last year was not like a wrong pick, but we took it, it and like
It was
five of different
controversial.
teams. Yeah, I mean, I still think that this is a really good pick because for no one had time to actually play with it.
Hmm.
We played a lot of games with it. We knew how it performed, but the other top teams, 8 players will would need to play like 5 games against Admec to get it like into good understanding of what this is. Especially if you don't have like a really like experienced operator of the list on in your like team box, and
Yeah.
then you will have to get someone to play with this list, to like play 3 games to actually learn the lists and use it, and basically get used to playing it on the table. And then you have to tell you 8 players to play like 2 games against this players this list in 2 variants. I go first, you go first, to understand the that's to understand the basic the matchup. So that's the
Hmm.
thing that is like good by taking non-standard list into your team compositions. On the other hand, it's a risky decision.
Yep. But it's a cliche, but still true. If you don't risk, you don't win. So there you go. So here we have it, guys. I think this is where we are going to wrap the episode. I think the guys provided a very, very good insight into what the Polish national team is doing, how the Polish national team intends to win Pyra, how the Polish national team intends to win the WTC. So hope you've listened from the very beginning to the very end, that you've learned something. Guys, any final words? Any things that you want to mention that I forgot to mention? Anything? Silence. I'll take silence as a no. So
Yeah.
I know I forgot to mention our sponsors. So to anyone who is listening, please do check out the Army Painter. Please do check out Weyland-Yutani. Both companies are supporting us, and we strongly recommend them either for terrain or painting supplies. All of them amazing. We wouldn't be supporting them if they weren't amazing. So there you go. Um, with that, I thank everyone. Thank you to my amazing guests. Watch this space for more coverage on Pyra after the event, which is happening this weekend. We are definitely going to do a summary episode as well to discuss what armies performed, which armies underperformed, what conclusions the team drew from the event. So stay with us, join us next week, and we will reward you for your loyalty. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Tweak. Take care, guys.
Thank you.